The BSRTC Pro Series 9 here at Lamont. I hope you guys are ready for a great day. It's cloudy in the sky, but it's a great temperature outside. Celsius outside. I'm joined by Mark, and we are commentators. Mark, how are you doing?
Well, I have to say, with fantastic timing, Discord decided to, have a connection issue, so that was Austin Knight, of course. Welcome, Austin, as we try to wait for Discord to get better. Welcome to BSRTC Pro Series, round 9. We are live from beautiful Le Mans, and we have had some fantastic racing over the course of the week in the MX5 classes series, Monday and Tuesday around here. Andrew Woodhouse and Adam Bath cannot be with us today. They will be back next week. So hopefully we will do the best that we can to cover for this fantastic series, as qualifying is underway for the first of 3 races that we are going to enjoy tonight here in Le Mans. As you can see, the drivers are already starting to get in the qualifying formation, and we should have Austin back. Discord should have sorted its issues. Austin, are you there?
Yes, I am back, and I'm not dead.
Okay, now Discord sometimes has some weird timing. The moment I pressed play, the connection on Discord, the servers decided that they didn't want to collaborate. But yeah, we enjoyed some great racing on Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully more of the same tonight.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday we were running at Le Mans in the MX5s. So it was time to bring Le Mans to the world of Kia touring cars, and here we are. And currently we're looking at this pack of 3 guys right now. Currently watching David Baker on his qualifying lap. 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session, and you see some cars already coming across the field right now. Lap times for the MX5s was 5 minutes for these touring cars. 4 minutes 15, around the 4 minutes 10 seconds is what we're going to see. 4 minutes 10 to 4 minutes 20 is what we're going to expect to see today.
Yes, and I'm sure, this Kia, of course, a touring car, but, compared to what we might be used, in Europe, especially with, TCR, a very, very quick touring car, some massive top-end speed. Of course, it's going to be a big change when in the future the TCR Audi will be released, and it is quite possible that then the series will switch to a more traditional race car. But for now we have the Kia, and this means I'm thinking that slipstreaming will be key, and those top speeds will make for some exciting racing going down the Mulsanne Straight.
Oh yeah, definitely. The long straight is going to be the top priority, and slipstream, getting the speeds up and then making the moves into the chicanes and into the tight turns like Indianapolis, where we here are now, and especially going to the Porsche curves. You can make some daring moves going into there, but definitely top speed will be the thing to watch out for.
So as per usual, qualifying is 15 minutes, and we are waiting for the final 3 minutes to roll through a long lap. So there is not a lot of time to get things right. As you can see, we should have somewhere Christian Rose, who is trying to get here he is, finishing his lap. You can see, together with Rushworth and David Baker, the 3 CQR boys, pro drivers, trying to improve on their lap time. As you can see, going in the final part of the lap, and on Monday especially, this particular section here was, I would say, tricky. Many drivers had some big problems trying to get, their cars, their MX-5s, through this particular sector of the racetrack.
A lot of tank slaps happened through here, I must say. The Corvette curves, famous for just upsetting the car, and they certainly upsetted the MX-5s, and I don't believe they're going to upset the touring cars that much, but there is a high chance that traction will be lost through there. So maybe a odd squirrel.
Yeah, we had many squirrels coming onto the racetrack on Monday night, and we have seen some massive wrecks there. Hopefully everything goes smoothly tonight, as here comes Jack Sedgwick as he's coming through. You can see a racetrack, this one. Well, let's jump with John Roberts, an MX5 Monday Cup veteran, I might add, in the past few seasons, now making the jump to the Kias, and still with a lap time to set. Sven Glatzel so far is your pole sitter with 0.25 over Baxter and Wojciech Sviridovic in third place. Then Adam McNally, amateur driver, you can see by the green stripe. And David Baker is in fifth place, but let's see if where John Roberts, if this is a valid lap, if where he will slot in the grid. As Sedgwick goes fifth, by the way, improving on his position. Here comes Roberts, and he's in P15. Rob Graham also coming through. Let's see, Wojciech Sviridovic, number 1 car, defending champion, of course, Evolution Racing team.
He's coming around the final corner right now, hops over these curves, not going off track at all, putting it on the power, coming across the line. Where will Wojciech go? Up to P2.
Wow, so close, so close. You see Sven Glatzel is in the pits and has been there for quite a while, so he is confident about his lap time, and you know, that was very, very close, but seems like he will be able to stay on pole. I don't know if Wojciech will go for another lap. Here comes James McRitchie, one of the biggest fans of the Monday Cup, always in the chat commentating. P17 for him, for
Great lap by
Racing.
Great lap by him. Puts himself up in 9th, and as an amateur, that's a great place to be.
So, what are we waiting for? Who are we waiting for? Michael Blake, of course. He should be somewhere. No, he's in the pits, so scratch that. Let's bring up the track map to see who is where, and we have Jamie Rushworth. Not a particularly good lap. One of his teammates has already parked there, so he won't have the tow. I think he's going to do the same very soon, even though he's pushing really hard behind him. Another car, David Baker, also coming through. But yeah, so slipstreaming, of course, the name of the game. Keeping your car clean, of course, with 20-minute races, Austin. There is no room for mistake. Now on Monday nights in the MX5 Amateur Cup, we have faster pairs. We don't have them here. And the rule is the same. If you want to score points and you want to be eligible for the reverse grid, you need to stay at the most 1 lap down. So keeping your car clean is going to be imperative, not only if you want to score points, but if you have a bad race, you want to give yourself a chance in race 2, race 3 with the reverse grid, you need to finish and don't get and don't destroy your car. Especially we say that, especially now that we go through this particular sector of the racetrack. David Baker, by the way, sitting right now in P6, trying to improve. Not going to be easy, but maybe he can jump Jack Sedgwick there in P5.
Yeah, Baker currently not on the fastest lap, but is keeping equal with his fastest times, but he has 2 improvement sectors right now as he's going through the Ford, as he's approaching the Ford chicanes. Now, you were saying how we don't have faster pairs in this series. Yeah, Baker's... Oh, I thought he was going to the pits there. But as you were saying, yep, no faster pairs in this series. So that means you're going to see a lot less daring moves, but people are going to try to be as sure as moves as possible. So a more clean racing as Baker comes across the line. Moves up to P5.
That's a very, very good time. Apparently still in P6, 15 class, but 6th overall. Adam McNally is having quite the qualifying, sitting in 4th place for Excite Energy A Racing. Let's see if Kip Stevens can get,
Oh, I just saw that. The lap is invalidated.
Ah, okay. So
P5 in the pro class, P6 overall.
Let's see now. Of course, this is a, I would say strange racetrack because it's so long. So, and with such little time to make a good qualifying run, we can have it happens mixed starting grid. With drivers maybe out of position, drivers that cannot set because it's very easy to pick up an off track, especially in this final part of the racetrack. And you know, the best place. Okay, this is not going to be a good lap for Kip.
You're just speaking. Kip
Yeah.
Stevens just immediately cut the track, and that track is somehow still valid. Didn't get a warning for that, but it's just so uncontrollable as he comes across the line and stays in.
It was a good lap. I'm very surprised as well. Tristan Bodis also coming home. Still has to set a fast lap. You can go wide there. It's somewhat okay. Don't you know? And this track, of course, more you know, it's maybe marrying the more recent philosophy of iRacing to maybe tone down. Okay, this is definitely not a good lap. Tone down the off tracks, but more slowdowns. And you know, in iRacing, the first couple of laps, if you get a slowdown, it's a very big penalty.
Disastrous.
And so, you know, especially when you come onto the Mulsanne straight, we are going to see, I think, many drivers pick up some slowdowns. They have to lift, and you know, if it happens in the front of the field, we are, you know, almost guaranteed to have cars starting left and right as qualifying is over. And so let's go through the starting grid for race 1.
All right. Here we are on the starting grid. Starting on the first row, it's Sven Glatzel and your defending champion, Wojciech. In the second row, it's Stephen Baxter, followed by Adam McNally, Jack Sedgwick, Dave Baker, Jamie Rushwood, Christian Rose, Michael Blake, Daniel Brown, Maciej Sakowicz, Mark Woodhouse, Jamie McIntyre, Adam Hedgecock, Robert Graham, John Roberts, James Mitsurucci, Kip Stevens, Robert Lundgren, Silvana Chevetsky, or Cheppy as some might call him, Daniel Kraut, Ross McFarland, George Simmons, Adam Hadcliffe, Max Wright, Paul Smith, Tristan Bodies, and Shard Gardner at the end.
Awesome. Getting ready to go then for this first race of the night. And we are waiting for the drivers to line up on the grid. You can see now Adam McNally here. I don't know if you can spot on the front bumper of that car the amateur yellow banner that indicates his class, so he's certainly having a strong qualifying round. Jack Sedgwick here, then Michael Blake second in the amateur qualifying, Stelian Chepilevsky all the way down in P20. Some drivers starting basically in you know, in the chicane, so not an easy place to be. And these are all drivers who got an exclusion from qualifying, so they couldn't take place in the proceedings. And here we go.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and away they go for BSR Round 9 TC Pro Series here at Le Mans. And it's a great start by Wojciech, who takes the lead early as they're heading into the Dunlop corner.
Yes, bad start from Glatzel. You see, he was a little bit hesitant there and loses first position. Now first trouble spot, the first chicane.
First chicane, a little bit cut, but they're going too wide through the Dunlop chicane. A little bit of contact with the 222 of Daniel Brown on Christian Rose. He loses another place. We rejoined back with Wojciech and Sven Glatzel. He's also got Stefan Baxter along with him as they're heading through the S's right now.
So for the first time entering the Mulsanne straight, we will see for the first time the slipstreaming in effect. Hopefully no one picks up a slowdown there, going too wide on the left.
As you see, there's already a move being made in the back aisle as we ride on the back of Wojciech, looking at the back, looking at the front bumper of Sven Glatzel. Sven going onto the outside, Wojciech defending onto the inside. These Kias, there's a massive slipstream on the left side, and I believe Wojciech's going to cover him off right now and try to make life difficult for Sven, as Jack Sedgwick actually overtakes Sven right there. And now Jack is in P2 as they're heading into the first chicane. Wojciech's first turn in, Sven and Jack side by side, a little bit of curve popping right now. There's still side by side through there, but I believe it's going to be Sven taking the inside. Actually, no, Jack comes out of nowhere and keeps the side by side train rolling as he takes P2. So I say that, look out for Stephen Baxter trying to make a move on Sven right there as well, as he's going around onto the inside and might try to make a move up onto the inside of Sven, but actually no, that's Sven on the inside of Stephen Baxter.
Two teammates for V-Racer going to the second chicane. Oh, that was so close on the rear end of Jack Sedgwick's car. They managed to get through, and you can see the long snake of cars as they head into the very tough Mulsanne corner that is going to be, you know, very tricky. And let's see, because Sedgwick is really on a mission now.
Yep, Jack Sedgwick getting the lead right now as they're approaching this tight right-hander. So there's going too wide in the background right there, but Jack has a massive lead in that braking zone, and I believe he's going to try to pull away as, oh no, he goes into the gravel.
A mistake there, should get away with it, as luckily it seems like everyone went through without problem. You can see in the background the cars getting out of that corner. But Jack Sedgwick, what a start, 4 positions gained, and he's in the lead. What a fantastic first lap for him.
4, I think you mean 8.
That is in class, yes, absolutely. But, I mean, absolutely fantastic driving from Jack. And now, of course, the tough part begins, because he will be under massive pressure, even though... Oh, McNally has got some issues, going wide, and losing not only several spots, but also the lead in the amateur class. Blake is now your new leader, as everyone goes wide there at Arnage, but luckily only a small collection of off-tracks and nothing more.
Yeah, a little bit of off-tracks. We return back to the lead of overall between Jack Sedgwick and Wojciech and Sven. These three kind of pulling away as they're approaching into the Porsche curves. You see Sven on the back end of Wojciech as Jack is watching in his rearview mirror as this battle's happening. We're riding on board Sven right now. Sven closing in on Wojciech, getting onto the brakes. He's not getting onto the brakes, and he's closing in as they're approaching the Corvette curves. This is the tricky spot of the track. Looking for staying onto the roll bar of Sven as he's just trying to close in as much as he can to Wojciech. 20 minutes here, and that will roughly be about 5 laps of total race time as they're approaching the Ford curves. Chicanes.
Very deep on the brakes was Sven Glatzel. He certainly enjoys jumping hard on those curves. A little bit of gravel there, but nothing too serious, as the first lap is in the books. And look at Jack Sedgwick, because he's enjoying a decent lead, even though in this particular racetrack is definitely not enough. Yeah,
decent lead is something not heard of. Sven gets into the back of Wojciech right there. A little bit of front end damage. Okay, more than a little bit. That is one messed up front nose.
Should be able to get away with it, but now, of course, the aerodynamics will be a little bit compromised, and you know how important they are. Let's see if Baker and Baxter can profit from this mistake.
Yeah, Baker and Baxter, they definitely saw that incident happen up there, and Sven, Baxter's teammate, definitely might be communicating inter-team with him, say, hey, get in front of them, I'm going to try to hold this off, and I'll try to get you as close as I can to Wojciech. So some inter-team strategy might be happening between Sven and Baxter. So we're approaching the first chicane now. Everyone much more spread out and not as aggressive as they were on the first lap, as Jack is just running away with this because Wojciech and Sven are having this battle, and now it's a 4-car following pack for the battle for P2. So we look in the back, I think I just saw cars going 3 wide outside the exit of chicane 1.
Yeah, in the meantime, Adam McNally went back into the lead of the amateur class. Even though you can see him clearly side by side with his rival Michael Blake, the 2 leaders of the class. Seems like Adam will stay in the lead for now, as you see in the back there. This is a battle pack with Graham, Woodhouse, Edgecock, as they get into the chicane once again. Bring up the battle box, why not?
Break out the battle box, break out the champagne, because this is a great time to enjoy yourself. As these guys are going side by side, 2 wide, about to happen 3 wide, as we see Robert Graham just testing the limits, trying to see an opening as these guys are go into this tight right-hander after this long straight. But these pack of 4 cars so close to each other. As I saw Woodhouse, he's absolutely sent it. Murdered over Code as Hedgehog and Woodhouse gone into the gravel after that break zone catastrophe right there.
Yes, that was, of course, it only takes a little bit of a touch, but we jump straight to the front because Wojciech Sviridovic's under massive pressure from the wounded car of Sven Glatzel, so far he is not feeling too much the effects of that collision there. Let's take a look at the rear end of Wojciech's car. Seems to be in much better shape than the front end of Sven's car, so at least he has that going for him.
A little bit of body work right there, but it's not going to affect him that much in cornering. Sven, the reason why he's still in there is because that slipstream is so powerful here down the massive straight that he's not losing that much ground. It's going to affect him in the cornering more, especially if Wojciech gains out a little bit of ground. But currently, if his aero's damaged and he needs to stick it to the back end, he's not going to lose that much. As they're coming into the Porsche cars right now, this is where Sven got a massive advantage on Wojciech as he was looking down the inside into the Michelin turn. As there's Wojciech getting onto the brakes. Sven does not brake there. I was watching him through practice. He doesn't brake there, but Wojciech likes to brake there, keep his car more stable. As they're approaching the Corvette curves, this is where we saw a lot of the tank slappers happen as they run over the inside curves. Sven and Wojciech almost nose to tail right now.
Fantastic stuff as another lap is in the books. Hopefully they behave as they go into the first chicane for the 3rd time. Of course, there at the front, Jack Sedgwick is in a good position, but you know, it's a very, you know, for BSRTC standards, is a big margin. But you know, as Glatzel, fastest lap of the race, is already beaten by Christian Rose there in P6. So this field is very, very tight. Oh, look at that.
We see Sven, he's sending it way up the inside. He got laid on the brakes, but he's overcooked it. As they're getting side by side, there's another collision with him and Wojciech again. And look at, and now stricken Sven, David Baxter going around into the inside on the other side of the Dunlop chicane and into the S. Sven now has the inside, trying to defend as much as he can, but that is pressuring Sven and Baxter. And now Sven Baxter looking to gain a bit of advantage over David Baker after he had a let off the gas. And yeah, here comes Baxter down on that massive straight.
V-Racer CQR, V-Racer and CQR, so the two teammates battling it out. Fantastic stuff. That move by Glatzel, a little bit optimistic, I have to say, as they are side by side once again. This is helping a lot, of course, Wojciech and Jack there at the front.
Wojciech breathing a sigh of relief as he's seeing his rival fall down the field. Sven Baxter gets into the braking zone right to the side of
his teammate.
Stephen Baxter. Yeah, his teammate. That is the #1 rule of racing. You don't hit your teammate, and he does exactly that.
You are very, very upset. I heard you, you know, punch or slap something. You know how bad it is to hit your teammate, but you know, in the chaos of this series, I've seen it happen many times as we have Christian Rose disappearing for a second, and look at it, the two CQR cars are looking to profit from the small collision, but you know, at such high speeds, even a small collision can be very detrimental to your overall race pace.
This pack of 3 cars going in tight down the back straight. So close, packed up together. Sven trying to stay in with him. Sven looking up the inside, gets upset on the curves, might go into the back end. As look at backside of Sven as Stephen Baxter almost comes into the backside of his teammate once more.
Mistake there from Christian Rose there, so he's under pressure from both of the V-Racer drivers. As looking just a couple of corners, we have to jump to the lead because all of a sudden Wojciech all over the back of Jack Sedgwick, and I was saying like David Baker, thanks to this little bit of a battle, has really pulled away from Glatzel, Baxter and Rose.
Well, as soon as we came onto this battle, the battle certainly died, but this battle is certainly not dying way behind us, as it looks like this massive battle for ninth is 4 cars. So they're coming into the slowest corner of the track as we see Rushworth losing a position to Sakowitz for P10.
And we have still, 8 minutes left in this, and a couple more races to go. The beauty of BSRTC. It's been quite a while, to be honest, since I've commentated on this series, but it's always a pleasure to bring these races to you and commentating on them. And a special track like Le Mans always brings us even better, a better spectacle for the viewers, and I have to say for us, we in the best seat in the house. I have to be honest. But there at the front, all of a sudden, David Baker looking to join the party for the race win, as I think we should have a couple more laps left after this one that is about to end. More or less, my math skills are terrible, so
5 to 6.
On Monday we were a little bit fooled, by the clock here at Le Mans with the MX-5s. So I'm not trying to do it once again.
We're looking out through the fourth chicane. Oh, Rushworth and Sakowitz get together on the exit of the very final chicane as they start another lap. Rushworth just trying to get onto the inside. Sakowitz bad on the exit, a little bit of an oversteer, and he gets into the back corner panel. Rushworth gets into the back corner panel of Sakowitz as he actually goes wide around Dunlop curve as they're coming into the Dunlop chicane once more.
At the same time, Christian Rose and Baxter both went past Sven Glatzel. See a replay. Maybe a mistake from the leading V-Racer car. Yes, you can see he went too deep there, and both of his rivals went past him going under the bridge there. But back at the front, with Baker trying to stay close to the two leaders. At times he's able to close the gap, but seems like now maybe they're enjoying just a little bit more slipstream, as behind them these three guys are still going at it as they get into the chicane once again, and basically they are nose to tail. It's only basically a very long Kia basically between Rose, Baxter and Glatzel.
See the battle for fourth, Rose, Baxter, and Glatzel. We see Baxter going onto the outside of Rose. They're going to go side by side. Sven Glatzel back in 6th. He's just been having a downfall of a race so far. But Baxter is sitting on to the back right of Rose as they're approaching the secondary chicane. We see Sven backing off a lot as here comes Baxter. He got late on the brakes. He's going to try to pressure him around the outside, force Rose into a mistake, and he's going to try to sneak it onto the inside, get a better exit than Rose, but it looks like Rose outfought Baxter right there. As here comes Sven Glatzel now, going side by side with Rose. This pack of 3 looks like a massive tight squadron, and now they're going 3 wide here in Le Mans.
Will they survive Mulsanne? Baxter wisely lifting off a bit as they go into one of the toughest corners of the racetrack. Side by side, Rose and Glatzel on the inside the yellow car. Little bit of contact, very small contact, but they managed to get through there very professionally, and the battle continues.
Battle definitely continues. Could have ended immediately right there with Rose and Glatzel getting into each other with the front noses on the exit. As we rejoin with Jack Sedgwick and Wojciech, the battle between first and second, as Jack is going extremely, launching himself into the Porsche curves. Both these guys have a different driving style, as we see David Baker also joining this fight for the battle for first.
Yes, this is the part of the track where I think David is stronger, and seems like he always gets very close to the rear end of Wojciech around the final part of the racetrack. If he can stay in the slipstream, he can really have a say in the race for the race win. And I'm guessing, but judging by the clock, that yes, the white flag should be waving next time the guys come to the start-finish line. I'm risking it because after Monday, but I have a long history of miscalculating the white flag. But this time I think I should be right.
You want to go? You want to bet yourself? Because I think we've got 2 more laps. Anyways, we are looking in on Baker and Wozniak right now for the battle for first. Baker in the Corvette curves coming up into 4 chicanes, backed off. Is looking for the inside move coming into the first set of 4 chicanes right now, but Wozniak covering him off very well. Wozniak actually back end getting a little bit loose as they're hopping over these curves and coming down for another lap of Le Mans.
So with 3.5 minutes left, white flag should be in the air. Sedgwick knows that the more these 2 guys battle, the better his chances at the race win. I think Baker knows that if he goes for a crazy move on Wojciech, he can get 2nd place, but he might give that little bit of help that Jack needs to get the win. So it's of course a game also of psychology, a game of thinking where to make your move, and if you can afford to make that move. But with 1 more chance, seems like Jack Sedgwick will be able to bring home the win. And I have to say, he was in the toughest position of them all, because under pressure all race long, and it looks like he can hold on until the end. But still, we have this final lap to go through, and anything can happen.
We're looking at David Baker and Wozniak. David Baker swinging to the outside after that switch, and they're going side by side, door to door, window mirror to window mirror. But Wozniak setting it up the inside, but David Baker not having any of it, holding him off around. Oh no! Wozniak punted him into the wall.
And Baker restarts, but with massive damage, and this promotes several drivers in front of him. All the battle we're following there. Of course, Glatzel, Baxter, and Rose. Let's get a replay of that.
We see David Baker going late on the brakes, swinging around the outside, but holding that inside line, pushing Wozniak, and he was just holding he just had Wozniak off the track, and Baker just didn't leave the room up on the inside of Wozniak. He could have just lifted off, but instead he just kept it on the gas, and that turned David Baker. Very unfortunate for the CQR racer, and he's just, that is very disastrous.
Yeah,
right
look
there.
at the steering, completely bent on the left. So this will be the fight for P3 in the end. Christian Rose right now jumping Steven Baxter, as this guy will go, the battle between these guys will go down to the wire.
We're looking at the battle for third. Rose, Baxter, and Glatzel. Sven Glatzel looking up, but Rose getting into the ground. That's definitely going to hurt his exit, as here comes Baxter sitting on the back end of Rose, looking for the right moment, and the right moment's right now. He's going to swing down to the inside and battle it out, coming into Indianapolis right now, as we see Rose just unable to fight off the slipstream train, as we see Sven just dancing all around his, oh no, he's going to make it 3 wide, is he?
Well, 1 more lap, sorry, final lap, so might as well go for it.
Definitely go for it. As, oh my goodness, they all got so close right there. Rose, little bit of a better exit than most of the guys coming into the slowest corner right now. These guys are front nose to back end right now, and they're just so close to each other. And speaking of so close, that is definitely not what's happening at the front, as Wozniak has actually fallen off of Jack Sedgwick. Jack has a massive 3-second gap. What has happened to Wozniak? I think he might have gotten a slowdown penalty.
Yeah, maybe that, or, he's just nursing the car home. Be careful here, guys. This usually doesn't work.
Massive group of cars. We see Sven Glatzel going up the inside of Christian Rose as they're going into the Porsche curves. Now as they enter the tricky Corvette curves. Ooh, Sven getting onto the grass a little bit. That's what caused a lot of accidents. So we're looking back at the front tier right now. Jack Sedgwick leading out Wozniak, as here comes Jack Sedgwick. 1 chicane to go. Keeps the car nice, and winner of race 1, moving up 4 places, is Jack Sedgwick for Evolution Racing. To return back for the battle for third, Baxter and Glatzel and Rose. It's going to be Baxter leading that one out. There's a massive group of cars have a massive collision in the chicanes. Oh, they're battling it out right now. I believe that is Simmons and Sakowitz right there. As they finish side by side with each other, and
Yeah.
0.02 seconds separate them.
You know, it went. You know, we had a fantastic fight all the way in the front 5-6 positions. That sadly we couldn't give enough space to the amateur race, which was won by Michael Blake, but Sakovic was there until the end, and also Adam McNally dropping in the final few corners. So maybe we can get another view of this final battle here. Look, this is Adam McNally. You can see Michael Blake there in front, and Maciek Sakovic was there. So some argy-bargy definitely, and someone. Yeah, I think that was how McNally lost all the time. Mistake there in the final corner, and so the winner of the amateur race is a very deserving Michael Blake in front of his teammate Maciek Sakovic. Fantastic stuff. And we have 2 more races to go. Look at that, he almost binned it there at the final chicane, and actually George Simmons helped him by you know, slowing down. Yeah, just a love tap on Maciek, and in the end Michael Blake gets the win, and this should be, yes, a celebration for the Evolution Racing team guys. You can see they are escorting Jack Sedgwick all the way around. We have still a couple of drivers left, I think.
I believe David Baker.
Yeah, who should be home safe and sound more or less right now. Just waiting for him to go through the final results. So let's give some nice camera time to our race winner while we wait for the session to switch over. Fantastic race 1. 2 more to go, Austin. So I think we can say we are having a lot of fun.
Yeah, certainly first race, if it's something to go by, this is going to be one of the most competitive and exciting races we're going to see, especially in round 9 out of this 2019 season. And I'm certainly excited. I'm here to commentate this one. And especially after round 1, I can't wait for round 2.
Absolutely, as we're still waiting for someone to come home. I see that. Oh, here we go. So, in just a second, the race results for race 1 should be on your screen.
Here they are. As we look at our results, it's Jack Sedgwick taking the win, with Wojciech right behind her, followed by Stephen Baxter, Sven Glatzel, Christian Rose, Cheppy, Jamie Rushworth, your amateur winner, Michael Blake, George Simmons, Maciek Saskowitz, Jamie McIntyre, Adam McNally, James McRitchie, Mark Woodhouse, Daniel Brown, Adam Hedgecock, Paul Smith, Roger McFarlane, Daniel Kraft, Adam Hatfield, Robert Graham, Kip Stevens, Robert Lundgren, Max Wright, Tristan Body, John Roberts, Sean Gardner, and David Baker at the very end, who unfortunately had that incident with Wojciech for the battle for P2.
Awesome. And as you can see, 28 drivers took the green flag, 28 drivers made it home on the lead lap, so everyone gets points, and everyone is eligible for the reverse grid. So we should bring it up on your screens right now. There we go. And yeah, let's roll it. It is going to be a full -4, which means 1, 2, 3, 4. Max Wright should be your pole sitter for race 2. Robert Langren, Kip Stevens, Robert Graham, and Adam Hatfield will round up the top 5. And that is going to be certainly an interesting race 2. Very bad luck, of course, for David Baker, who will not enjoy a good starting position. In fact, he will start all the way from the back thanks to his crash in the final lap. But an interesting race nonetheless coming up, Austin.
Yeah, the race is certainly one to look out for. So it's time for a little bit of a refresher. Take a little bit of snacks, and we'll be right back for round 2.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome back to the BSRTC Pro Series Round 9. We're here for race number 2 here in Le Mans, and I hope you guys are ready to get back on track for one of the best races of the year. Temperature's gone up on track from 26 Celsius. Actually, it's fallen immediately down as soon as I said that. It's now 24 Celsius as everyone is gritting up right now. Max Wright starts on pole with Robert Lundgren. And second, Kip Stevens, Robert Graham, Andy Hayfield, Daniel Kraft, Ross McFarland, Paul Smith, Adam Hedgecock, Daniel Brown, Mark Woodhouse, James McRitchie, Adam Canali, James McIntyre, Mackie Sakowitz, George Simmons, Michael Blake, Jamie Westworth, Cheppy, Christian Rose, Sven Glatzel, Stephen Baxter, Wojciech, Jack Sedgwick, Tristan Bottas, John Roberts, Sean Gardner, and David Baker starting off last. And especially after that end that David Baker he's probably raging that he has to start from the back again. So expect a great drive from him. As the lights come on, McFarland has jumped the start and he's gone into the pits as it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away they go for race number 2 here in Le Mans. All the cars fanning out. Bit of a jumping of positions, but they're going 5 wide and coming into the top curve. But look at that start that Max White has. Going to on chicane. Oh, this car turned sideways. Car turned sideways, I believe, for a bit of a section, but he was returned back. Is this all utter chaos through the Dunlop chicane as they're coming into the S's right now? 3 wide, 2 wide, single wide, just everyone side by side as we're taking a look at Smith right now. Going up to the inside, switching back to Max Wright and Adam Heidfeld. That lead, that start that Max Wright had is immediately jeopardized as Adam has caught up to him.
Yeah, the two Automax. Yeah, apologies that Austin, go ahead.
Now you go ahead.
Okay, no, the two teammates trying to break away from the pack. Robert Landgren sitting in third, Kraft, and then Kip Stevens, your top 5, as in the back we have had some issues for Jack McIntyre, who has lost several places. We might get a replay of that as we almost go 3 wide there into the first chicane.
To that hectic start, I think it's time for these guys to act a little bit calm, but they're definitely not doing that, especially up in the midfield, as they went just 2 wide through that chicane right there, which is able to do so, but as we saw in the race 1, that it gets very hairy on the exit if you try that. So we're looking at Wright and Kraft right now going side by side with each other. It looks like Daniel Kraft has the advantage. We switch up to Adam Heifeld. Here comes Robert Lundgren coming into the secondary chicane. He's going to hold off Adam right there. He gets early on the brakes, almost this little brake check to Adam right there, but Robert is going to lead him out, and Adam is going to hold out the outside exit, and he has this front nose down in there, but he gets onto the grass and he's going to slip behind of Robert.
So we have 2 amateur drivers leading the pack. The first pro is Daniel Kraft in third, and of course that is the selling point of these reverse grids. The amateurs get their time at the front, and how long does it take for the pros to get back to them?
We're looking at Daniel Kraft right now. I just heard a lot of car contact right there. I think that was Robert Graham that just was involved in an incident. He fell down a bit of places and had a bit of off-track excursion. Oh no, that is Sean That's Sean Gardner. He's down at 27th right now. I think he's about to drop to 8th, but no, that's 28th is Ross McFarland. As we reach one back up to the front, and this front group is side by side with Robert Lundgren and Adam Hayfield coming into Indianapolis right now.
Ooh, some contact. Oh, and Hatfield goes straight on. Is his car okay?
I think it is. I don't see any suspension damage on his car, but that braking move that Lundgren did right there. Hatfield moved up the track just a little bit, got into the front nose, and that just upset the car so much that he just got shot off straight on as they're approaching into the Porsche curves right now.
Oh, mistake from Lundgren. Kraft gets the move, jumps into the lead as behind them. Massive chaos as they are able to keep the cars in one piece. I don't know how, because I saw a couple of guys sideways there as they were going through the S's.
Still going through the SVC, Sven getting pushed out wide. He loses 2 to 3 places right there as they're approaching the Ford chicanes. And this is some massive pack racing on a road course. And then you was call this NASCAR, but this ain't NASCAR. This is touring cars. As somebody's already going into the pits. That's
Robert Lundgren. So did he get either a jump start or he didn't serve a slowdown, and so he's in, or maybe he's got a meatball flag for some contact. We shall maybe know after the race. So this gives Daniel Kraft a little bit of breathing room, and behind him it's all happening. Look at Adam McNally having a nice run, just missing the win in the amateur class in race 1, and now back with a very strong start of the race. And let's see how are the pros doing. Of course, the best is Kraft, he's leading. Stevens is in 4th. And then George Simmons in 7th. Sven Glatzel in 9th. And Steven Baxter in 10th.
Biggest mover, I would say, is Steven Baxter and Sven Glatzel. Moving up 12 places right now. And biggest loser has to be Robert Lundgren. And I believe, yeah, he's out of the race. So we have 1 retirement. No, he's back in.
He's back.
He's mine. Correction, I'm an idiot.
But I'm looking at the chat and your fan club is out in full force right now. So at least you have that going on, no?
Howdy, the Night Train. How are you guys doing? So
oh, mistake from Kraft.
Oh, that is not good for Kraft. Bad exit on the... Bad correction mid-corner as here comes Smith and Wright, and they might swamp up Kraft right here, making another 3-way fight for the lead, and yes, they do.
Also a big slowdown, I'm thinking, for Kraft. So Paul Matthew Smith is your new leader, Max Wright in 2nd, and now Kraft, of course, is being the 2nd lap. That will be a massive slowdown. Look at this, everyone. Freight training past him, and now some contact with George Simmons of Evolution Racing Team, or was it Kip Stevens? I think it was Kip, but still, Daniel is certainly, holding on for dear life now in P4. Should have cleared his slowdown, but always less than ideal to get a slowdown in the first couple of laps on a long straight such as this one.
There's a car way off into the grass right there. I don't know who that is, but as they're coming into the final corner at the end of this straight, look at the inside of Adam Highfield on the and battling with Glatzel, but Glatzel and Adam are side by side. Sven in that massive slipstream group going to try to get any throttle, but in this massive pack, there's not a lot that you can say except for the battle at the front of them. As these two are going side by side, and you just have to pick a lane as we look at Smith and Wright. The battle for the lead. Paul Smith, Max Wright. Max Wright has the lead. Now Paul Smith has the lead. It's Smith. It's Wright. It's Smith. It's Wright. It's Wright. It's Wright. Going into the lead. Heading into Indianapolis.
Jumping very hard on that curve was Max Wright. His car seems to be okay. Didn't get a slowdown as behind them. Simmons actually getting a good run as Kraft and McNally are bumping doors, and Wojciech Sviridovic is a bit wide, but is able to keep a good run going. So once again, look at this fight here for 4th place as Simmons is looking to break away from this pack. Look at the defending from Kraft on Glatzel, almost pushing him into the grass.
Yeah, the pros going at it right now. These are the top 3 pros in the class, and on track, really, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all pros as they're trying to chase down the 2 amateur leaders, but these guys are battling it out as hard as they can as they're coming into the Corvette curves. That is McNally on the back of Kraft, trying to edge his way in there. Yes, it is. And he got extremely close at the end of the Corvette curves as they're heading into the Ford chicanes. Don't expect him to try to make a move right here as we're approaching halfway right now.
Here comes Simmons for Evolution Racing Team. And he is looking to get into the second position, and so he does. Of course, now the braking area will be crucial, but it seems like he has a very good launch. Glatzel fastest lap of the race, 4:17.2. And Simmons is able to make it stick, and now he is trying to hunt Max Wright for the lead of the race as a nice cloud cover is jumping over the racetrack, so that will certainly help the drivers with the tire wear for the final 10 minutes of the race. Look at the speed differential that Simmons
it's
is
not
enjoying.
helping Max right there. As he was going through the S's, Max went really wide, and that just gave Simmons the advantage to have it right there. And Simmons jumps into P1 after that speed advantage he had through the S's. And now George Simmons leads the race, but he's got Paul Smith on his inside, and he's looking to challenge for the lead as they're going to have a massive 4-pack battle for first.
Here comes Glatzel.
Where did he get that speed from? Glatzel's going to try to sneak it up the inside and rob all three of these guys. But Glatzel,
oh no, there's contact. Great save.
Great save right there. Is now they're in a shamrock formation. Now 4 wide coming down into the back straight. But that is not going to be very good for Simmons as he's going to fall to the back of this group. He's going to sit behind Glatzel and try to get his speed up with the slipstream, but that is just so hard to race in a pack of 4 coming into that chicane. To go through the second chicane right now, all front nose to back end right there. Some call it the exhaust, but yeah, the exhaust is on the back of these cars. Sorry, I had to expect that for a little bit, but the battle for the lead has come to Smith, Glatzel, and Simmons as Wright and Kraft in the back end of them are battling with each other, but we're sitting on Simmons right now, looking at the back of Glatzel. Simmons is leading it all over the track, trying to find an advantage for Glatzel. Glatzel hopping over a curb just a little bit as that promotes. Oh, Smith goes wide. So they're side by side right now, so it's trying to bit difficult to commentate in this massive pack on this roll bar cam. But these two going side by side, massive 3-car fight coming down the side straight, heading into Indianapolis. So then Glatzel swinging it up the inside into the first little dink of a turn. So they're approaching Indianapolis. Ooh, Paul Smith gets it to the back end of Sven Glatzel. I believe there was contact, but yeah, there was contact. And now, ooh, Simmons looking in on Smith. Had the tighter exit, so he's not going to have the better exit than Smith, but Smith and Simmons going side by side right now. Simmons has a little backdraft. Smith has a backdraft on him, but Simmons has the draft in front of him as they're going side by side approaching the Porsche curves. And Simmons just going to slide. Oh no, he gets
some
tapped.
contact.
Simmons has been tapped by Smith. There's a little bit of ambitious move to slide ahead of the car right there, but he did get tapped off the road by Smith.
So Simmons hit twice in this lap, still holding on to top 5, but certainly he doesn't need to lose all this time. Now he's right in front of his teammate Wojciech Sviridovic and race 1 winner and also teammate Jack Sedgwick, so might have some help as Sven Glatzel looking to pull away in his black and orange V-Racer car, taking a very, very wide entrance into the final Ford chicane, as Max Wright for Automac Knockhill is looking to hunt down Paul Smith for the class win and also maybe a nice podium as Simmons goes for it once again. Certainly the most active driver in this second race is George Simmons.
Most active and most unlucky, as some might say, because he's been involved in so many incidents that the fact that he's still up there is, oh, it looks like Kraft's going slow out there, and Simmons gets into the back of right. 3 incidents now for Simmons. As
Even
now
though,
Simmons,
if you
look
can
at the
see
back
that,
of Simmons.
yeah,
That is
but
Wojciech.
with a big damage, so must have hit somewhere. I don't know where. You know, easy
I
to
believe
lose
on
track.
the,
Yeah, you
I
know.
believe at the start.
Oh, Simmons disappearing for a second as Sven Glatzel is under big pressure from Paul Matthew-Smith.
The amateur and the pros going at it still for the fight of the lead. Just because he's an amateur, don't count him out. And Paul Smith definitely wants to prove himself now. But look behind him, that is Daniel Kraft of
Did he get a slowdown?
CQR. I think he just did get a slowdown because he just dropped off the pace immediately. And look at that. Here comes Wojciech up the inside and boom, bada bing. Waj, P4.
Nice move there. So George Simmons dropping down to 5th overall as Paul Matthew-Smith is still holding on a podium despite that slowdown there, but under massive pressure from the 2 Evolution Racing teammates as they are trying to push each other. And now here comes Sviridovic on his inside. Will he make it stick? Not quite. Gotta move on the outside.
He's gonna have the inside on this exit, but we've seen that not work sometimes. But he has the half-car length advantage, but he's gonna have the outside line through here. Is they're gonna be side by side, but I believe Wojciech's gonna have the advantage over Paul Smith. But look at George Simmons; he's giving a little bit of a bump draft right here, and a little bit of NASCAR tactics right now. See him applying the brace, gets behind him, and yep, 2 cars clear of Paul Smith. These guys are oh so tight. A little bit of contact between the 14 of Jack Sedgwick, race 1 winner, and Stephen Baxter. Is actually Hatfield gets around Sedgwick as right there. As we're looking at back in the battle for 3rd right now between Simmons and Waj. Now Simmons trying for the advantage on Waj after giving him that little bit of friendly bump drafts. He's going to take his position back and rejoin the battle for 3rd and hopefully get into the battle for 1st.
We are seeing Daniel Kraft get very close to the rear end of Sven Glatzel in this 4th lap, but has not been able to mount a serious challenge. And of course, looking at the clock, the next time they go through the start-finish line, that will be the white flag. So chances are getting smaller and smaller for Daniel Kraft if he wants to win the race. Certainly a nice run, of course, in this 2nd place. But Sven Glatzel, from the start, he gained 20 spots in the overall standing, so certainly a great race. And so also are Simmons plus 13 and Wojciech Sviridovic plus 19, Stephen Baxter and Jack Sedgwick, race 1 winner, plus 15, David Baker plus 16. So David Baker trying to make the best of a very unlucky race 1, and also a very unlucky reverse grid wheel that didn't factor him in, and he had to start all the way from the back.
Yep, sorry for the back. Doesn't affect
Oh! Fantastic save from Adam Hatfield, I think he was, the Automech driver. And that was inches away from disaster. And that could have taken out quite a bit of cars, quite a big number of cars. He was able to save it as the white flag is in the air for race 2.
Race 2 coming down to 1 lap at Sven Glatzel and Kraft. Right now they have a reasonable gap to the cars behind, so that is very good news for these two. So they don't have to worry. Kraft doesn't have to worry about the cars behind, and Sven Glatzel only has to worry about 1. So it's pretty much a 1v1 right now on the last lap. Who's going to take it?
Yes, with the 2 ERT guys trying to work together. Of course, the advantage of being teammates, but they might jump 1, but I don't think they are going to be able to jump both of them as they go through the Mulsanne Straight for the final time in this 2nd race out of 3. As You can see the gap on the bottom right side of your screen going down thanks to the slipstream, but not going down that much, even though this is a very, very long straight. So
Actually,
by the
here
end,
comes Simmons. Here
they go.
comes Simmons. He's closing down on Kraft. He's very good at following cars in a straight line, as we saw him shoot up 3 positions in one corner. So we're approaching the first chicane. Kraft's caught Glatzel. And now, you know how I said this is going to be a 2-car race? It's now a 4-car race. We're looking back at Glatzel and on to Kraft. Might see Simmons try to jump into the first place right now, but here comes Kraft up the inside. So they're side by side. Kraft breaking that slipstream, and it's going to be great news for Simmons and Waj, as Waj challenging his teammate. And now Kraft leads out Sven Glatzel for the lead. So they're coming to the secondary
Oh,
stage,
no!
oh my goodness! Oh,
That is a massive
crash.
wreck. Big
That is
wreck.
Rose.
Yeah,
That's
Rose
Christian Rose
and I saw
McIntyre.
also Jack Sedgwick, the race 1 winner. We will get a replay of that after the end of the race, but let's go back to the fight for the win now. Wojciech Sviridovic very much in the fight for the race win.
Yeah, Simmons dropped off the pace out of nowhere, but Wojciech's taking over for his teammates. They're coming into this right-hander. Sven absolutely sends it into the brake zone, but he sent it on no one. He sent it on himself, and that delivery is denied, and he falls all the way down to 4th. As these 4 cars are racing down towards Indianapolis, it's Daniel Kraft, Wojak, George Simmons, and Sven Glatzel in that order. CQR leading out the 2 ERT guys and the 1 V Racer. As we see Wojak taking up the insides, they're heading into Indianapolis. He's going to try to go for a switchback right now. He's gaining a lot of ground on Kraft, and he's going to try to go for an outside move and try to pressure Kraft into a mistake.
Awesome contact.
Contact RG barging, a little bit of side panel, swinging right now, but Wojak has the lead. Simmons pushing his teammate a bit forward, and now it's this 2x2. Here they come into the Porsche curves. It's going to be Simmons taking the lead with Wojak around the outside. Sven Glatzel and Kraft is too close to call as they're coming into the Porsche curves. Simmons has the lead over Waj. And here comes Sven Glatzel up the inside of Waj, but Waj holding all of them off as they're heading into the Corvette curves right now. Now Sven Glatzel on Waj, trying to hold off for P2. Waj on the inside. Now Sven on the inside, still side by side between them. And now here comes Kraft, going to make it 3 wide into the final turn and coming into the 4th chicane. Simmons is on his own, but all 3 of these guys in this pack of 3 might go into a massive last corner fight as Waj around the outside, now the inside. Sven going around the outside, now the inside. Waj outmaneuvers him for P2, but all eyes are on George Simmons, moving up 15 places for the win. Waj in P2, followed by Sven in P3 and Daniel Kraft in P4.
What can we say? Fantastic racing, absolutely amazing. What a finish. All these 4 guys there at the front deserve a big thumbs up from us, because that was one of the best finishes I ever saw. And now you see the Wounded Warriors coming home. Sedgwick especially, race 1 winner, didn't have the best of luck in the final lap. We will get a replay of that very soon. He will finish P21 actually. Let's go back and see what happened there.
Oh, it was a tap on the. It was a tap. That was the Paul Smith, I believe, getting to decide him. That just caused a massive crash right there.
So
It was not Paul Smith.
Let's see. This was from Christian Rose's point of view, and at such high speed. Look at the smoke. You try to get, go through, but it's not possible. Want to see from the chopper. That was an Automac no-kill car. And that was not Robert Graham. That was Adam Hatfield. And the other car should be Tristan Bodies. No, it wasn't. Who was that? Michael Blake, maybe? No. Paul Matthew Smith. I think you are No?
Yeah, it was
Well-
Paul Smith.
Okay. So, an unfortunate crash that left us with, lost many lost places for a couple of drivers. Let's see who we are still waiting for. Kip Stevens. And you can see he's having to drive in a little bit of an unorthodox way to bring the car home.
Yeah, that wheel's pointed all the way over to the right like it was going to the pits, but the back end is actually drifting out right now. That's not some internet connection issue. That is a driver trying to contain his suspension from trying to slide his car all the way into the nearest Dunkin' Donuts and into Starbucks, probably. But that car wants to be somewhere else right now. Thankfully, it only has to go a few hundred feet. And across the line, he comes to finish out this race. A crazy race, too. And wow.
Yeah, and of course, this is a big payoff for Kip Stevens because he's able to bring the car home. He will be eligible for the reverse, and if he gets lucky, might even get a good starting position for race 3. Let's say that, let's go through the final race results for race 2.
Here are your results. George Simmons takes the win, followed closely by Waj, Sven Glatzel, Daniel Kratz, Paul Smith, Sven Baker, Daniel Baxter, Daniel Baker, Adam McNally, Max Wright, Adam Heidfield, Jack McIntyre, James McRitchie, Adam Hedgecock, Ross McFarland, Jamie Rushwood, Tristan Bottas, John Roberts, and Maxitz. Sorry about that. Mikey Sakowitz.
Very nice.
I'm still out of breath from that massive 4-car thing, so I'm just trying to regain myself because that was an awesome finish. But finishing up from 19th to 28th, it's Robert Graham, Sean Gardner, Jack Sedgwick, Mark Woodhouse, Christian Rose, Michael Blake, Robert Lundegaard, Kip Stevens, Cheppy, and Dylan Brown at the end. Now, I believe, like you and me, everyone else should probably take a massive breath and chill out just a little bit for the race 3, because if race 1 and 2 is something to go by, race 3 should be the most crazy race we're ever going to see. British Touring Car Championship never seems to disappoint us.
We've all been there. The first time you comment on BSRTC, usually the effect is always the same. So it's always very exciting the first time you get to commentate on this series. As you can see, we have 26 cars eligible for the reverse grid, with Kip Stevens being the last. Stelian Czepilewski and Daniel Brown will not be eligible, unfortunately for them. Let's bring up the trusty reverse grid wheel, and here it is. So let's roll it. And it is going to be a smaller grid than what we had in race 1. 15 cars will reverse, which means that the pole sitter will be Jamie Rushworth. He will start from pole. Ross McFarland in second, Adam Hedgecock in third, James McRitchie in fourth, and Jack McIntyre will start from fifth. So this will be your top 5 with Bodis, Robert, Sakowitz, and all the other guys behind Rushworth missing out on the reverse. So certainly, after I think Austin, a big glass of milk, we have to recharge because race 3 is going to be as crazy as the first and the second.
100% agree with you, as we're getting ready to just take a little bit of a 5 and be back for race 3, final race of the day for round 9 here at Le Mans.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
And we're back for race number 3 in round 9 of the BSRTC Pro Series here at Le Mans. And if race 2 and race 1 was something to go by, race 3 should be the most exciting race today. I'm certainly hyped for it. Sunset conditions, so the track is cooling off. We're going to have a lot of grip on here. Marco, anything you want to tell us about?
Well, let's get a quick look before the grid goes on your screen at the weather and more in depth. Well, honestly, I cannot find the tab for the weather, so we'll have to imagine it. But yes, it's more. I wanted to point out, the time of day, but as you can see, it's very late in the day. So, like you said, the track is getting cooler. Let's go through the starting grid for the final time tonight.
All right, it's Jamie Rushworth starting on pole, followed by Ross McFarlane, Adam Hedgecock, James McRitchie, Jack McIntyre, Adam Hayfield, Max Wright, Adam McAnally, Dave Baker, Stephen Baxter, Paul Smith, Daniel Kraft, Sven Glatzel, Wash, Jordan Simmons, Tristan Bottas, John Roberts, Max Zakowicz, Robert Graham, Sean Gardner, Jack Segwick, Mark Woodhouse, Christian Rose, Michael Blake. And the last 4 positions are Robert Lundergren, Kip Stevens, Chippy, and Daniel Brown starting up at the rear. Looks like everyone is gridded up and the 5 lights are on, and away we go for the final race today here in Le Mans. Already a great start. People going 3 wide right now. First position is Jack McIntyre. Actually jumped up 2 positions. James McRitchie battling out with Adam Hedgecock as they're coming up through the Dunlop curve side by side in the back. But looks like Jamie Rushworth and Rox McFarlane going. And there's, oh my goodness, that is Paul Smith skirting out through the gravel. I believe it was McNally getting sideways in the Dunlop chicane. Absolute chaos at the start.
And that could have been a lot worse. Good driving, all considered. We had a similar issue in real life at the start of the Le Mans Cup race before the 24-hour on Saturday morning. We have someone going very wide there. I think that was, Stephen Baxter in the number 12 V-Racer car. But all in all, everyone made it through more or less in one piece. And here we go on the backstretch. You can see the sun is almost completely behind the horizon, so nice race, nice evening, late evening conditions. Rushworth, McFarlane, McIntyre, 3 pro drivers are your top 3.
Yeah, CQR and 2 V racers, McFarlane and McIntyre. Expect them to try to use a little bit of teammate tax as they're heading into the first chicane. Looks like McFarlane might try something going into the ace of the chicane. He thought about it. He had a nose in there, but he's just going to sit behind him and wait for all the chaos to settle. So I believe that is Simmons taking the little short way round.
Yeah, and he's going to have a massive slowdown, unfortunately, but I think he elected to do that instead of getting into a crash. As we go back to the front, Paul Sitter under big pressure from Ross McFarlane, who now has the inside of the second chicane.
Here comes Ross McFarlane. He gets the car advantage right now as he's heading into the secondary chicane. Now watch for McIntyre try to do the same coming up into the tight right-hander after this long straight. As they reform, McFarlane leads the race. Rushworth getting closer right now. Rushworth going down to the inside. He's going to try to go for that inside line advantage. We saw so many incidents happen with cars touching each other in the braking zone. Hopefully nothing comes between these two as they head in there, and they're going to keep it clean right now. But expect in the midfield something crazy to happen very soon.
Still going side by side there. Now. Yeah, look at that. McFarlane seems to want that first position at all costs. Even this early in the race, wants to pull away from the rest of the field. Top amateur driver is James McRitchie in 4th place. Hedgecock in 6th, Outfield in 7th.
So we're coming into Indianapolis right now. That little small kink, you do have to get onto the brakes, and Rushworth absolutely cut off the door. McFarlane had the advantage going in there as Hatfield has actually lost it as Hedgecock gets into the gravel In the background, a lot of bit of dirt happening up right there. Cars going 2 wide through Indianapolis and almost 3 wide right now. As that is
Hatfield going.
that's Hatfield.
Yeah.
Again,
Does he have some damage?
Absolutely beat up.
Steering seems to be straight, but he's certainly moving out of the way as Wojciech Sviridovich is coming through. You can see him now behind the boosted car of Adam Hedgecock there. As
Hedgecock going wide.
2x2 in this corner doesn't work usually.
Well, it's keeping it absolutely safe in the most dangerous way possible through the Porsche curves and now the Corvette curves. But it looks like Hatfield and McNally side by side. A little bit of a love tap right there. Hatfield going wide, and he's going to hold up that position as McNally almost chops off Kraft right there. Now Kraft joining in on the fight. As this midfield fight is getting absolutely limited, we're going to switch up to Baxter and McIntyre right now. And actually, that's McRitchie on the back end of McIntyre. And he's going to be defending like crazy because out of the corners they go. It looks like McIntyre gets a slowdown penalty at the exit.
Yeah, bad luck there as once again Rushworth and McFarlane. V-Racer versus CQR. And still the yellow CQR machine is in the lead under big pressure from McFarlane. Steven Baxter trying to come through and maybe give a helping hand as McRitchie now is in 4th, of course, thanks to the slowdown for McIntyre. And Sven Glatzel, you can see him there for V-Racer as well. He is in 5th. Wojciech Sviridovich for ERT.
Oh, here comes Sven Glatzel. He forced McRitchie into the grass, and Sven makes that move very easy, but McRitchie is not having any of it. He's going to try to pressure him down the inside. We're riding on board with Waj, and Waj is sitting in that slipstream, but he's got the speed of the gods right now, and he's going to easily pass McRitchie up the inside. He's going to try to make it 2 for 1 right now, and pass... yeah, he's already passed. He's going to try to pass Sven right now. We've enjoyed the fight for the front. It's a drag race between McFarlane and Rushworth. Our timing screen doesn't know who's in first right now, but it's going to be McFarlane sending it up the inside for P1 of Rushworth.
Beautiful move there. You were right, Wojciech now jumped also Sven Glatzel, so now he's up to P4, and I think he has to be the favorite for the race win, of course. Guys in front of him are, are very, very quick drivers, but Wojciech, of course, defending champion, knows what he's doing, and he is certainly one of the best drivers in the world in the Kia. And
yeah,
you know, the two guys at the front keep battling, so it's of course good for who is trying to catch up to them.
And look at the damage that Baxter has. That's not going to help his aerodynamics. He almost gets into the back end of McFarlane as they come into the secondary chicane. And that's going to be very good news for Waj. He sees all 3 of these cars battling. And it's like a slow down yellow triangle sign. And here comes Waj on the back end of these 3 guys. But it's Rushworth, McFarlane, and Baxter currently fighting out for the lead. Here comes McFarlane up the inside. Baxter, that damaged front nose, is sitting on the back of Rushworth. They're side by side. Once again, heading into this tight right-hander. McFarlane along the inside gets the advantage as Rushworth almost comes into the back of him as Baxter gets a great exit right there. He's going to have the advantage down this back straight, and Waj, no drama right there. He's following that slipstream as much as he can as his car's snaking all around the field as McFarlane and Rushworth once again side by side heading in to the Indianapolis turns, and here comes Baxter. He's going to make it 3 wide right now, but he's going to back off once more. And now Rushworth around the outside. Now he has the inside going into Indianapolis. They're going to go tap on the brakes. Baxter backs off a little bit. McFarlane backs off, but he gets a little bit under control as he sends it up to the inside, unable to do so. And look at that. Waj is joining the party.
Fantastic stuff. McFarlane a little bit on the edge, and now also all on top there. Glatzel and Wojciech and Baxter getting very, very close. McRitchie is also still there with his rival in the amateur class, Adam Hedgecock, as McFarlane is under pressure from his teammate. You can see as soon as they start fighting second and third, that gives a little bit of breathing room, just a little bit, to the leader. But look at Wojciech Sviridovich coming through.
Oh, Sven wanted to make a move on Wojciech right there. So they're heading into the Porsche curves. They were originally thinking about going side by side. We've seen how many times that that's worked out well. Yeah. As McFarlane and Baxter once again nose to tail, They're trying to snake their way through the Corvette curves without upsetting their cars. Savannah and Waz are just bump drafting each other, trying to catch up as close to them. I think Savannah's actually implanted his front nose and become one with Waz right there. You're riding on board, Savannah right there. Coming through the Ford chicanes. Waz looking a bit upset as they're all hopping over these curbs and coming back on for lap 3 here at Le Mans.
So, Sedgwick, fastest lap of the race, 4.14. As we move the cameras just slightly towards the front, as you can see, Rushworth is still holding on to that lead, but you know, just a small mistake and you pay a big price, especially in this big train of cars. The V-Racer boys, there are 3 of them in the top 5, so if they can get together, they can really work with each other. Jamie Rushworth alone, CQR car at the front, and same goes for ERT's Wojciech Sviridovic as they go through the Mulsanne straight for the 3rd time in this 3rd race of the night, and basically there is one big snake of cars from 1st to 5th.
These guys are flying down the Muscle straight now once more. All of them sitting in the same slipstream. Whoever dives out first will have the advantage. And here comes Baxter. He's going to dive out, but he's not going to have the speed because the slipstream battle. Here comes McFarland trying to help out Baxter as much as he can. Baxter has to jump onto the inside. They're going to go side by side, pressuring into the first chicane. He pushes Rushworth off the track. Now Rushworth is going to pressure Baxter off the track now, but Baxter has the advantage, and he holds off for P1. Now Rushworth definitely going to have the advantage. They're side by side. 1/10 separates both of them, and it's going to be Rushworth having the advantage. And now here comes McFarland. Is he going to try to make it 3 wide, or is he just going to sit it down? Now they're going 2 wide, and here comes Waj around the outside of Baxter, making it 3 wide, almost going 4 wide on the track. Now as Rushworth defending on the inside, defending on the outside, he has the middle line going to the secondary chicane. Baxter sends it up the inside. Actually, now it's the outside, now it's the inside, now it's the outside once more. Rushworth defending off Baxter, but Baxter pushing on Rushworth as my head is going light now.
Fantastic stuff. Look at Wojciech trying to find a little bit of space to make a move, but there is no space, and now he's up to second, 3 wide getting into Mulsanne.
A little bit of contact at the braking zone. Waj and McFarlane got into each other just a little bit. The brakes going red hot right now as Waj getting pushed up into the gravel. But they're back following each other closely on board with Waj. Looking at the back end of McFarlane, he's gaining on him. Looking back at Sven Glasgow. Glasgow is sitting back there, but he's still in this fight. He's just waiting for his opportunities. These guys are flying all over the track. Going side by side into Indianapolis. First is that little right-hander kink before the actual turn. They do have to tap on the brakes. Baxter absolutely gets the breaking point right there. So they're heading into Indianapolis right now.
2 by 2 they were for a second there, almost Talladega or Daytona style in NASCAR competition, and around goes the leader, but a great save.
Great save, and Waj comes across and chops Savin's nose off. Savin's not going to be happy about that. That may have also damaged Waj's steering a little bit, but Baxter and McFarlane still side by side for the lead.
I thought that was going to be a massive wreck, Austin, to be fair. Great save once again. We have been very close to disaster a lot of times tonight.
A little bit of flirt with disasters. They're coming in to the Porsche cars side by side. Waj around the outside trying to get Baxter's number right there. But now it's the left-hander. They're all so close to each other. It looks like the first lap once more, but this is the 3rd lap. We're coming into the final laps of this race. We're looking back at Sedgwick and Waj right now, still side by side of each other. Actually, no, that is Glatzel around the inside. Oh, Sedgwick goes wide.
Great comeback.
How many cars are in this battle?
Yeah, that contact there at Mulsanne caused a big slowdown of everyone, and now we have, let me check, just the odd, 10 cars fighting for the win, only 10 cars.
Okay, yeah, not that much, just 10 freaking cars battling it out for the lead right now as we enter lap 4. McFarlane and Baxter, Waj, Rushworth, Glatzel, Sedgwick, McMurtry, Hedgehog, McIntyre, and Highfield all in this lead battle, but we're only showing the top 6. So
Don't
heading to the
count
Dunlop
out.
chicane, back.
Chappie is also coming through, but especially if these guys keep fighting, as we have a beautiful, picturesque sun coming from behind the clouds and below, almost, below the horizon, give this magic atmosphere to a not very calm race on the racetrack, and this is what we like. The racer now have 1 and 2, but Wojciech is Viridovic absolutely looking good. Teammate Jack Sedgwick has now joined the party, so now he has an ally, whilst Jamie Rushworth is once again all alone, as we might have a 3 wide for the lead.
Now McFarlane has the lead, and here comes Waj up the inside. He's gonna split the gates of heaven and go into the lead on lap 4 of 5 here in Le Mans. But look at Rushworth. He's absolutely closing in on this field, but here comes McFarlane. He's going to try to send it up the inside into the braking zone as all the cars bunch up right now. Waj defending up the inside right on the exit. He's going to try to hold off McFarlane, but he's not going to chop off the nose right now as they regain as the pack of 4 of Waj. McFarlane, Baxter, and Rushworth as hello, Mr. Inside of the Kia. That's what your radiator looks like.
I love that shot, I'm sorry, but I love when they are so close that you can see on the inside of the other car, almost 4 wide here.
Oh, they're going 3 wide. Now if they're actually going 4 wide into the secondary chicane. Rushworth up the inside, absolutely snipes, and he's absolutely missed the braking point, and he's going to take an advantage as Baxter gets spun around. He regains control right now, but he's going to fall all the way back behind his Sven. And that is going to be a massive slowdown penalty for Rushworth as this angry pack of bulls led by McFarlane is going to close in on the CQR racer.
They are going to freight train him. I don't know how big that slowdown is going to be, but he certainly cut the entire chicane. And he's getting the slowdown in the worst place possible as they enter into Mulsanne, and he takes the wide entrance. That is going to be another extra slowdown. So very, very bad luck from the CQR driver. Now getting some hip and shoulder throughout the corner. So after all of this, McFarlane is your race leader, Sedgwick and Wojciech Sviridovic 2nd and 3rd, then Baxter and Edgecock your top 5.
Oh, look at Wojciech trying anything he can. To get around these 2 cars. We see Wojciech just tapping on the brakes, swinging side by side, just trying to find any bit, but these 3 cars having the new lead as they're coming into Indianapolis right now. As bit of contact on the number 5 of Jamie Rushworth and Adam Hedgecott going side by side on Indianapolis. I believe somebody has a bit of suspension damage. That might have been Wojciech's cars that was drifting it just a tad bit in the braking zone. But McFarlane and Wojciech looking around to the right. He's got his door panel. They're side by side, but they're keeping each other respectable distance as they're approaching the Porsche curves. And as we take a little bit of serenity, as I believe that was a Hayfield in the background getting onto the grass. So they enter the Porsche curve, swirling. Wojciech and McFarlane side by side, swapping places. McFarlane now has the lead. Gets Wojciech into the wall. Now Wojciech on the back bumper, still following each other. And I want to say, okay, somebody has just subscribed to ApexRacingTV. Thank you for the subscription.
Thanks to Ulrich, as I am very sad to announce that the white flag is in the air for the final time tonight. I could have gone on for at least 3 more of these, but yeah, final lap of the race, 10 cars fighting it out for the race win. Anything can happen, stick with us. Final lap of the night in BSRTC Pro Series.
2-wheeling Woj goes trying to close in and just cut the track, explore the limits as much as he can as we pull up the lap times right now. McFarlane definitely puts in a better lap time than Woj, but it's so close at the top that it is just insane. Sedgwick is the fastest guy in this top group. But this is certainly edge of your seat stuff right now. We're looking at Sedgwick. He's closing in on Woj as they're coming down through the Dunlop chicane and into the S's. Picturesque shot. The sunset is gone. As you said, this was a chaotic atmosphere, but this is absolute racing bliss right now if you're a fan of motorsports.
Look at the rear view from McFarlane's car. He's certainly checking his mirror constantly. Now it's a matter of, playing it as best as you can. Of course, it's very, very tough to hold off a train of cars. on a straight like this, massive slip, and look at the closing speed of the cars behind him. Sviridovic going for the lead.
Here comes Wash around the outside now. Oh no! Wash gets turned, and he's done an absolute barrel roll. He gets absolutely shafted. He comes across the track right now. Car avoidance is a must right here. Now he swings back across the track, and oh my goodness, how did no one else get involved in there but Wash, the defending champion, absolutely gets dumped over and over again. What a disastrous time for Wash, for the Evolution Racing team. He's fallen down the order, and oh my goodness, what do we just witness?
And picking up the spoils after, you know, being there or thereabouts all race long, Jack Sedgwick. He waited for his moment and he got the lead of the race when it matters the most. Now Baxter going past McFarlane. McFarlane must have some damage, but it's going to be a tough ask for Baxter to close the gap on the leader and winner of race 1, Jack Sedgwick. So at least ERT can console themselves with you know, the fact that the race lead still is in their hands. But what an amazing crash, and we'll get a replay of that after the end of the race. But Jack Sedgwick marching towards another race win tonight in chaotic fashion, but there is a small matter, not small at all, to, you know, see who's going to finish on the podium and in the top 5. Look at this massive amount of cars. Sadly, that crash there forced some drivers to lift, and this broke up the pack, unfortunately. So we have now 3 separate groups: the leader, second and third, and all the guys behind them.
Yeah, Sedgwick has a massive gap. He was the fastest in this top 10 battle. As the real battle right now is about for P2, but Sedgwick is still involved in this massive fight in case these two close in on him. As Baxter and McFarlane were looking all over the place. That is his Jack McIntyre. Now we're switching back to Ross McFarlane. He's defending from Steven Baxter right now, as they're so close to each other. The battle for the P2 is all over the place on the last lap, as the sun is just peering through these trees right now and just reflecting on these cars. Picturesque, as some might call it, as Sedgwick is just relaxing right now, as he's just going to try to keep it easy through the Porsche curves. And now here comes McFarlane and Sedgwick on each other through the Porsche curves one more time. Coming into the Corvette curves, Baxter on the back end of McFarlane. He's going to try to make a little bit of move. McFarlane had a little bit of a slide as they enter Corvette. As we see Sedgwick just leading out these two guys, Baxter and McFarlane. McFarlane holding off that inside line, holding off Baxter, but here comes Baxter up the inside as they approach Ford, and Baxter absolutely steals it up the inside. So they enter the Ford chicanes right now, the first one and the second one. A little bit of curb to wheel and celebration as this Jack Sedgwick, 20 places up, takes the win of race 3. Followed by Baxter McFarlane. That's Adam Hadfield spun around on the first Ford chicane.
Yeah, he got turned around somewhere in there. He was, of course, fighting. He was in that group fighting for the win. At the very tail end of it, he will have to settle for P13 in the end. Other drivers coming through. John Roberts, who is just behind Max Wright by a very, very small margin. Maciek Sakovic, Tristan Bodis. So whilst the few drivers that we have left to come through are coming through, let's get a replay of what just happened to Wojciech Sviridovic.
Great replay. That is a pit stop, and we're having a seizure right now.
Okay, so let's get a replay of that. Maybe Austin cannot see, but as you can see, there was contact there, and clearly, you know, when it's this late in the race, it's very, very tough to, you know, find some real estate, and, you know, the more or less mistake at such speeds. You see that there was, you had Jack Sedgwick. Let's see from his perspective, and you can see he was pushing his teammate. Then one car was moving to the left, the other was moving to the right, and for Jack Sedgwick, Christmas has come quite early, because there you go. The two cars in front of him crash, and I'm absolutely astonished that only involved the defending champion, because you had a car flip in the middle of the Mulsanne Straight at massive speed on the final lap where no one wants to lift. But that was that, and certainly a very, very unlucky end of the race for Wojciech. He finishes in P26. We will see if he scores or not. He's not come back on track.
I don't think he's gonna score because he's retired into the pits. Now, if somebody wants to have a little bit of fun with their afternoon, how many flips did Waj do right there? Put your comments down below. And see if you win.
Absolutely. That was one of the biggest flips. I mean, we had a couple of flips on Monday night in the MX-5s, but that was by far one of the...
all of them.
Yeah,
that
one of the
all of them.
biggest flips I've ever seen on iRacing in quite a while. Tristan Bott is enjoying a nice scenic drive through the French countryside, missing some important pieces of his car, but coming through and finishing on the lead lap, therefore getting some points for his troubles. And he is the last guy we are waiting for, and here he comes for Team Mad. And now that he has come home, we can take you through the race results for a very chaotic but massively entertaining race 3.
All right. And after race number 3, here are your final results. It's Jack Sedgwick taking the win. I believe that was his second win today, was it?
Yes, race 1 and race 3. It's a clean sweep for ERT with the winner of race 2, George Simmons, also.
Absolutely dominating race for ERT. But in second place, it is Sakowitz, followed by Max Wright, Chippy, Jamie Rustwood, Michael Blake, Christian Rose, Sven Glatzel, Paul Smith, Ross McFarlane, Daniel Brown, Tristan Modis, Wojciech Swirlidowitz. Somebody asked me to pronounce his name. I don't know why I just said his name. That's not even the results. I'm looking at a different list.
Yeah, I was confused for a second, and then, yeah.
You say the results because my screen is completely messed up.
Okay, so end of the race 3, Jack Sedgwick your winner, Steven Baxter and Ross McFarlane, then Jack McIntyre, 3V Racers car, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, then for Boosted is Adam Hedgecock in P5, Jimmy Rushworth in 6th, then Sven Glatzel, James McRitchie, George Simmons and Christian Rose round up your top 10, Stelian Czepilewski in P11, then Dave Baker in 12th, Adam Hatfield in 13th, Daniel Kraft, Paul Matthew Smith, Kip Stevens, Mark Woodhouse and Max Wright in 18th place, John Roberts and Daniel Brown round up the top 20, Michael Blake, Robert Graham, Sean Gardner, Maciek Sakovic and Wojciech Zviridovich in the end. Maybe he scored. We will see, because he's still, it should be one lap down. Tristan Bodis then in 26th and not finishing the race and not scoring, Adam McNally and Robert Landgren, who hasn't enjoyed the best of evenings. And let's see now, we are waiting for drivers to come for interviews. But while we wait for that, of course, let me remind you that we have coming for you on Apex Racing TV on Saturday at 13 GMT. As you know, below my house there is a MotoGP race starting. We are going to have the Sim Racers Asia coming back with a multi-class series. You don't want to miss that. The Lotus 79 and the Dallara F3 car. That is certainly a crazy combination. And quite possibly at 6:30 GMT, me and Sam Fitzpatrick, barring any change of programs, we will have the season review for the Euro V8s. You liked it a lot last year, so we are doing it again. And then on Monday, we will start again with the MX-5 and Rikmotec. On Tuesday, MX-5s again. It looks like it's going to be from Sonoma, both MX-5 races. And then on Tuesday morning, of course, don't forget the IMSA series, 10:45 GMT. Then later in the day at, I think, 6 GMT, the VSR GT Sprint. Oh, tomorrow we also have the 19 GMT Le Mans Series, who is coming back on Apex Racing TV, so you don't want to miss that as well. Wednesday, the Dynamics GT Championship is coming back at 19 GMT. And of course, on Thursday, BSRTC will be back same time. This time around, they will race from Road Atlanta. And now, I think, Austin, it's time for some interviews. Let's bring in, if you want, Adam Edgecock.
All right, let's get him in here. Howdy, 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 Adam. How was that race?
The last race was absolutely epic. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Made up for the other two for sure.
Yeah, the other two just kind of want to scoot them under the rug and not think about them, right?
I put it down to a learning experience. The second race was tough. I somehow managed to cook my tires around here, and I was fighting understeer and oversteer. The first turn I got it all wrong, and yeah, it wasn't great. First race wasn't particularly memorable either, to be honest.
You know, Adam, for Austin is the first time commentating on BSRTC, so he's a little bit out of breath, but I have to say you guys put on a fantastic show. And you know, each race was better than the previous one. This final race was absolutely fantastic. To bet for that massive wreck in the final, massive, I'd say. You know, Wojciech flipping in the final lap that broke up the battle there at the front, but certainly I can only imagine how tough it is for you guys to keep the concentration down for all the three races and in such, you know, close quarters and with such massive straights, which means that, you know, you don't really have, even on the straight, you have to, you know, watch the car in front, watch the car behind, you know, get your braking markers right, hope that no one hits you from behind. So I can imagine after three races like this, you are in, you know, for a nice, relaxing rest of the evening.
Yeah, I'll be sleeping well tonight, that's for sure. It's weird, this track, like you say, you know, it's long straights, you've got a few corners that, yeah, they're heavy braking. It's not really taxing per se, but it's a confidence track. Like at the start of the night, you'd have seen that the guys were braking out a little bit earlier, they were being a little bit more cautious. And then that last race, everyone's confidence was up. You know, they were up for it, and you could see that in the racing. Like I was sitting behind the front pack and watching them, and they were going for it. It was a joy to watch, and it was a shame, you know, the crash for sure. But they were putting everything on the line. And it was breathtaking at times.
And next week, Road Atlanta in the full configuration, so a nice change of pace from Le Mans, completely different racetrack, of course, elevation changes, and a track that you can split, I think, into halves. The first part, you know, a lot of elevation changes and flowing corners, and then that long straight chicane and that very tricky final corner. How are you feeling about that round in Road Atlanta?
It's not one of my better tracks, but it's always fun. You always go there, no matter what you're driving. You'll go there and you'll have a good race. You know, you'll have a good battle with someone in there. Yeah, it's a fun track. I'm looking forward to it. Although my expectations aren't particularly high for finishes.
Thank you very much, Adam. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
The Boosted Motorsport guys, racing with them is an absolute privilege. Savage Gaming community who backed me in my racing. And to everyone that I've done battles with tonight, it was a lot of fun. And thank you to you guys for putting on a great show.
Thanks, Adam, and we will catch you next week.
Cheers then.
And now, Austin, if you have got your breathing back into normal, I know it's tough after, you know, first
Just a little bit.
it's like this for everyone, you know, the first you know, the first BSRTC round. Like I said, it's a rite of passage, and now. Standing there with you, I think we have Ross McFarlane.
Hello.
Yeah. Howdy, Ross. How was that race?
Dramatic. That's the word I think was used in the chat. That was a real fight. Certainly. Given a pretty good reverse grid, starting second. Wanted to work with Rushworth a bit more at the start, but I wasn't sure if he was going to cooperate, and I think in the end he was trying to cooperate, but there may have been a difference in setup. He seemed to be a lot quicker on the straights, but desperately slow through some of the corners in that first and last sector. So eventually, once Savidovic came up behind us and I saw Cedric on the relative, I thought that no, this is it. It's race time now. There's no working together. And that last lap, well, yeah, don't know.
Next week, Road Atlanta, like we were talking earlier with Adam. So nice change, the flowing track in the first part, and then more streamlined with straight chicane, but that very, very tricky final corner there. Are you looking forward to that particular race?
I would be looking forward to Road Atlanta. It's one of my favorite tracks. However, I have a feeling we might have had to edit it to be Alton Park, which well, it's a track. Well, I couldn't confirm 100%, but it would be a track returning to the calendar, and I certainly have never even raced there on iRacing, let alone in the BSRTC. So whichever one it is, it's going to be a real challenge. They're a bit shorter, much different from Le Mans, which I'm sure is going to be a welcome change for most of the grid.
So it's a week coming with a lot of question marks because the MX-5s should have raced in Alton Park, but apparently they are moving to Sonoma. So now, yeah, we are waiting anxiously because so we know where we have to go next week. So even for you guys, I think it's a bit, I wouldn't say stressful, but certainly you want to know with a certain advantage of time, where you have to practice, no, for the next round. Because in a series like this, of course, drivers being so close, every inch, every hundredth of a second you can get is always a welcome addition.
Yes, definitely. Smaller tracks, tighter tracks like those, you really need to work on that one lap pace and that real racing advantage that you get. Somewhere like Le Mans, whether you start fifth or you start first, doesn't really matter. But at a track like Atlanta or Alton Park or Sonoma, it's all about you want to be at the front, you want to be dominating the race and using your pace and allowing yourself that chance because you're not going to get any free passes there. So getting that time to really nail the setup, nail the driving and the overtakes that you might want to try, it's definitely needed.
Well, Ross, thank you very much. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Certainly, I'd like to thank the team, V-Racer. We're doing very well this season so far. I think we're still leading the championship. Maybe changed after tonight. We didn't have the best scoring, but we're going to get it back, I'm sure. Thank you to XSIM and the Events House, our primary sponsors and the supporters of our team. Thank you also to Noble Chairs and to Swedish Rig Designs and Lux Liveries, as well as PRZD for all the work that they do with our media and liveries, and they help out a great deal when we have those last minute races that we need something for. So thank you to them as well.
Thank you very much, Ross. Congratulations for this podium in race 3 and catch you next week then.
Thank you. Bye.
And that hosting was, Ross McFarlane. So I'm quite sure you enjoyed your first night of BSRTC experience.
Yeah, I had a great time. Yeah.
Your voice didn't like it, but you liked it,
But I'm gonna be feeling that tomorrow. I've actually already lost it. You can actually sound that. But yeah, what a race that we saw here today. I'm gonna try to get ow. I'm gonna try to get my throat cleared. But what a race we saw here today. Race 1 certainly gave us a great battle. Race 2 upped race 1 by 100%. Race 3 just said, hey, previous 2 races, combine them once and then add 5,000 because that was insane.
It was. Yeah.
I have no words, honestly, to describe any of these races other than epic.
Well, hopefully you have a few more words left because, being your first night in BSRTC, I leave you the honor of closing the broadcast.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for round 9 here at Le Mans. I hope to see you next week. I've been joined by Marco. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope you guys have a good night.